Hey guys, Pops from Pops&Gigis Workshop. Here today to talk to you about changing the sand in the hydro pump filter. When I put it in last year and I did the video on how to assemble it and put it together, I said that the recommended manufacturer says that you're supposed to change the sand every 3 to 4 years. Well, this is our second year. This is starting our third year. But what I've noticed is the pump is not circulating as well. It doesn't have as much pressure. And we noticed some sand particles in the bottom of the pool, which tells me that the sand is breaking down. So it's time to change it out. And with the help of my photo assistant there, GiGi, we're going to step through here and tell you how we do it, okay? First thing you got to do is you got to depressurize or get the water out of the header unit. So what I've done is I've cut the pump off, of course. We drained our pool a little bit because it's in the process of getting it started for the summer. But what I'm going to do is plug the port, the intake port, with a wine cork. If you've got the traditional fittings in an above ground pool, once you put those in, you can't put those black, pardon my lack of preparation. Once you have the back part of that fitting in, you can't use these plugs. So I came up with an idea of using a wine cork instead. It actually works better. So I've corked off the port going into the unit, and I've also corked off the part coming back in to the pool. So that means there's no pressurized. I can disconnect the lines and let the water drain, and there'll be no pressure in the pump itself. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to disconnect this line. This is the return line. I'm also going to unscrew the cap at the bottom to drain any water that might be inside the pump itself or the housing. And then, with a Phillips screwdriver, there's 2 screws on either side of this ring assembly here that I've got to loosen in order to take the head assembly off. You notice it backs off the nut. Then you can expand the clamp. Maybe you need to expand it a little bit more. I guess we're going to have to take the clamp off. So it's going to run the screw all the way out. Don't lose your screws.
I'll hold it.
My assistant's holding it for me. And also you want to grab the nut. Okay, now I can take off the clamp. And carefully remove the head assembly. Yeah, that sand's pulverized. It's seeping through the filter before it gets into before it goes to the pool, and it shouldn't be doing that. That's what that's for. So let me get this off of here. Now that I got the head assembly separate, I can move it off to the side. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff been filtering through there that shouldn't have been. Naturally, when I built this pump and pool assembly, I didn't give a lot of thought about having to work on it, so I didn't leave myself a lot of room. Keep that in mind too when you do your pump from now on. since I don't have a lot of room, I'm going to take this thing to another area to work on. And so what I did was this latches into the base, so you just have to turn it to where you can lift it up. And it's got water in it, and it's got 42 pounds of sand in it, so I'm going to take and drain it. So now we've got the bucket down here, and we've got the green sand that we're trying to change out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it into a 5-gallon bucket, and whatever water is in there and sand is in there, we'll deal with it. Lost the ring. Actually, what would have been better probably would be to do it with it dry at the startup of the season. But I didn't count on having to change it going by the manufacturer's instructions. I thought we had more time. Oh, looks like baby boo. All right. Now I've got to rinse it out. Before we put the new in.
Here comes your other helper.
Yeah, Ruby, the boxer.
She just had a birthday the other day. She's 12 years old.
She's a little slower than she used to be, but...
You still love to help, don't you, Ruby? Ruby.
Don't ask me why I'm taking this fitting off, but I'm taking it off just to be thorough. To get it all cleaned out. And to clean out the threads here where it drains through the overflow. Still more sand in this thing. And then I'm going to rinse around the flange area, get the sand off of that, so when I made it back up to the head unit, it doesn't leak.
Honey, I think Ruby's trying to tell you something.
Oh, that's right. Ruby has to have water whenever the hose is out. That's part of the price we got to pay for her assistance. Good job, girl. Now I'm going to put the drain back in it. Now that I got the sand drained out of it and all washed out and the filter element washed out, I'm going to put it back in its frame before I apply the other sand. Remember, there's two little knobs right here that click in and then turn. And it's turned and it's locked in. Okay, now with the HydroTools pump, when you got it in, oh crap.
Wow. We just had a big branch fall out of one of our trees in the backyard. Let me go check on him. Hold on. Remy, there's your boy. Come on. He's down there.
Missed him. Anyway, what I was going to say before the branch come falling out of the tree, this cap came with your HydroTools pump when you got it. What it is to keep the sand from getting into the center filter. So you want to line that up before you pour it in, and just kind of, it centers it so it's easier to put the head assembly on, and it keeps the sand out of where it shouldn't be. Okay, So now I'm going to get the sand and try to pour 42 pounds is what it calls for into this assembly. I bought the sand in a 50-pound bag from a pool supply house. It cost me like $14. You can get it sometimes cheaper at the Walmart or Lowe's or even Home Depot. It has quick right sand. So, but anyway, one thing I remember from the last time I filled this thing up with the bag itself, you're better off to pour it into a smaller container and then come in and pour a control pour. You lose a little along the way, but for the most part, it goes in nice. And once you get it in, sort of shake it around so it's kind of evenly dispersed around the bottom of the tube.
Come here, Rube. She's always been a helper in the projects.
I believe we're good. Now we're going to put the cap back on. But before I do that, if my assistant will hand me the water hose again, I'm going to rinse away a little bit of this sand around the top. Again, I don't want to get any in the head unit.
Ruby, you and Bessie May leave that alone.
Head unit's off, or the protective plate. Now we're going to put this back on. Take the same clamping rings. Put around the top. And then there's another nut.
Mm-hmm.
You got it?
I do. It's in my pocket.
Okay. And there's an indentation in these clamps for these nuts to hold still, so you don't need a wrench.
I can't see where I'm supposed to show. Oh, your hand's in the way.
Well, okay. And it's like tightening a lug nut on a car. You don't want to tighten it all the way first. You want to tighten one a little bit and then go to another one and get it balanced in there. Now reconnect your hoses just like you disconnected them. Actually, I only disconnected one hose. Then you want to take the plugs out of the fittings so the water seeps through. Hopefully that primed the pump. We're gonna find out.
It's gurgling.
Gurgle, gurgle. Oh, contact. That's getting the air out of the line. So what I'm going to do to help that situation is I'm going to backwash it right quick. Believe it or not, that helps get the air out of the lines. We have flow. Yay. Now the next thing to do is check what all you disconnected to make sure you have no leaks. And I don't see any. I don't see any around the head unit. I don't see any around the drain unit at the bottom. I don't see any out of the hoses. So we're going to call that a wrap. I know this was kind of thrown together and kind of sketchy. We didn't get into a lot of crazy stuff. We just got to the job and got it done. But Pops and Gigi would appreciate if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll be giving you helpful hints along the way. Take care.